Chapter 7. The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Rat had been visiting Otter. When he came back, late one midsummer evening, he told Mole all about it while the pair of them sat in the cool on the riverbank. "Baby Otter, little Portly, is missing again," said Rat. "He's been missing for some days now, and the otters have hunted everywhere for him. Otter told me that he's very anxious," Rat went on, "because little Portly can't swim very well yet. Otter's going to spend the night watching by the ford, because that's where young Portly had his first swimming lesson and where he caught his first fish. So Otter goes there every night and watches, just, on the off chance." Rat and Mole decided to get the boat out and paddle upstream. "It's better than going to bed and doing nothing," said Mole. They kept a good lookout for the baby otter, and when the moon came up, they could see much better. They scanned the river from bank to bank, looking in the meadows and the quiet gardens as they passed. They searched all night long. They landed on the bank and explored the hedges, the hollow trees, the ditches, and then they heard a faint musical piping. They went towards the sound, and it got louder and more distinct. Suddenly they saw the piper smiling at them, his panpipes in one hand, and there was the baby otter nestling between his hooves, sleeping soundly. Then the sun rose, dazzling their eyes, and when they looked again, the vision of the piper had gone. Little Portly woke up with a joyous squeak. "Come along, Rat," called Mole. "Think of poor Otter waiting anxiously up there by the ford." So the two friends put the baby otter safely between them in the bottom of their boat, rowed up the river. There they were able to see the joyous reunion between Otter and little Portly. Shall we go straight on with Chapter 8? Toad's Adventures. Chained up in his dungeon all alone, Toad shed bitter tears and abandoned himself to despair. "This is the end of everything," he wept. "How could I ever hope to be free again?" And for several weeks he refused all food brought him by the grim and ancient jailer. But the jailer had a daughter, a good-hearted girl, who helped her father sometimes in the prison. She was very fond of animals, and she said to her father one day, "I can't bear to see poor Toad so unhappy and getting so thin. Let me look after him." "Do what you like," said the jailer. So that very day, the jailer's daughter went to see Toad to talk to him and to tempt him with food. At first he would not be comforted, but when she brought him tea and very thick hot buttered toast, he started eating again, and they had many interesting talks together. She told him she had an elderly aunt who was a washerwoman at the prison. She suggested that if Toad gave this lady a little money, she might be willing to let him have one of her dresses and an old bonnet so that he could escape from the castle. Well, the very next morning, the girl brought her aunt into Toad's cell. Shaking with laughter, the jailer's daughter helped Toad to dress up in the cotton print gown, arranged the shawl and tied on the bonnet, all of which her aunt had brought in with her bundle of washing. Then the pair of them tied the old lady up to make it look as though the daring Toad had overpowered her to steal the clothes. With quaking heart but firm footsteps, Toad made his way out of the castle. The warders and the soldiers joked as they saw the stout little figure in familiar clothes go walking by. Every door and every gate was opened for him. Even so, it seemed hours before he crossed the last courtyard, and then he was walking across the drawbridge, free. Dizzy with the success of his daring exploit, Toad made his way to the railway station. He went to the booking office to buy a ticket, and to his horror, found that he had left all his money and his belongings in his prison cell. He pleaded with the booking clerk, but he was pushed out of the way. In despair again, he wandered down the platform to where the train was waiting. He told the engine driver all his troubles. Luckily, the engine driver was a kind man. He told the poor washerwoman that if she washed a few shirts for him, she could have a lift in his cab. Toad was very thrilled as the train sped along. But after a while, the engine driver said they were being followed by another engine. "And it's crowded with warders and policemen," he said. "You see them." and he slowed down enough for Toad to jump off as they passed through a thick wood. He rolled down the embankment and scrambled into the wood. He watched the train speed up again and disappear. Then, with the pursuing engine roaring past, everyone shouting, "Stop, stop!" he had a hearty laugh for the first time since he was thrown into prison. Chapter 9. I think we'll do that next time. I'm going to stop now.